Shalom, all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. My name is Yakaba from Plaintables Camp. This is the apostles video. A few words on Babylon the Great. Now, I did a video, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, and it breaks down the elders broke it down. Apostles, Babylon the Great equal up to 666. Just go toward about 11 minutes. Let's see. About 11 minutes, and it'll break that down. Or we can watch it from the beginning. I believe this is it's Apostle Tar. Apostle Ariam Lab is breaking the rest, the 666 down, and Revelation 17th chapter.
Tipsy gives you a buck.
Alright, so this is Apostles video. A few words on Babylon the Great.
For lo, I will raise and cause to come upon against Babylon an assembly of nations. This starts with Russia coming back into power. Remember, Russia collapsed in the 90s, and it came back into power. Great nations. So these are these former. By the way, the Ukraine was a part of the Russian Empire. So you had a lot of these nations, formerly of the USSR, break off. So basically, what this war between Russia and the Ukraine is, they're bringing back, they're putting the band back together, so you can understand, for economic reasons and military reasons. An assembly of great nations from the north country. The uttermost north is Russia. And they shall set themselves in array and battle against her. Against who? Babylon. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. Modern day arrows are the ICBM missiles. None shall return in vain. Jeremiah 51:54. A sound of a cry cometh from Babylon the Great, destruction from the land of the Chaldeans. A sound of a cry. They're going to cry. They're going to cry. They're going to weep. It speaks about the king of Babylon. Matter of fact, I'll go to that. Let me go to Isaiah 14. I believe it's Isaiah 14. We'll find out in a minute. Go to the word king. Okay, it says here, Isaiah 14:4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath their precious ceased, the golden city ceased. And that's us. It was talking about the kings of the nations. So who's ever the king, which is the president, whether it be Biden, whether it be Trump coming back in there, well, they both shit in their pants. That's the report. They both shit. So they're really going to shit in their pants on that day. It says, the 43rd verse, the king of Babylon hath heard the report of them. The report of them is, what is it called? The daily presidential briefing. The DPB, the daily presidential briefing. Because the president gets a briefing every day about the state of the world on a geopolitical level. So things are going to get so tense that they're not going to know whether Russia's going to attack. So they're doing negotiations so they don't, one doesn't have to attack the other. But all those negotiations they're going to drop because the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai is involved in this. Remember, it said that the Lord put hooks in the jaws of Russia, the chief prince. And the hands waxed feeble, weak, anguish took hold of him, and pains as of a woman in travail. And I don't think that's talking about Biden, because if he got this report, he'll probably drop dead. Literally. It says, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. So when Babylon the Great is utterly destroyed by fire, Armageddon, World War III, there's going to be breaking news around the world, as I have said in previous videos. So now let me come on back. I didn't have anything to go like this.
This is Proverbs 11. Proverbs 11:4 says, riches profit not in a day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. And we know it's impossible for Esau to do good.
Is it Ghana? What's the other one? They made a big deal. I believe Ghana was one of them, but there was another that they had the president and his cabinet go against. Help me out, y'all. I don't think it's Ghana, but Ghana's with it too. They don't like Mose.
It might have been Uganda. But they because that's against their law and their culture. But cuttings in the flesh, that's not against their culture and laws. You can make cutting into the flesh for various purposes. So when they introduce the RFID microchip, which is a mark of the beast, it's not going to be against their culture. They're going to accept that, but no homosexuality and etc. That's against their culture. So when they go and introduce the chip, they're going to be all for it. They're all going to agree.
And they push that alphabet stuff, pretty much saying you got to pass laws to protect these people, not condemn them. So the premier, the president, and his cabinet, they kind of like, nah, we ain't with that. I believe it was Ghana, which you have Jakes in Ghana. But so that's the fornication in Revelation 17 and 4 and 4. It's not necessarily the microchip, even though that's part of fornication, but that's more of a technical thing. That's why it tells you that in the next verse, the 9th verse. Anybody that takes that chip, which is ultimately fornication, but fornication is, matter of fact, let me look it up. I know what it means, but let me look it up. Fornication. Illicit sexual intercourse, that means the alphabet people. Adultery, fornication, H to the O to the M to the O, L to the E to the S, intercourse with animals, bestiality, So fornication, um, fornication is also adultery. In this country, you can commit adultery and you don't get locked up for it. You don't get put to death for it.
Yes, any sexual act when it comes to like the physical, it's just any sexual act that's against the laws, and spiritually is when you commit like crimes against like nature, against blasphemy against the Most High, against the Son, against the people. All right, fornication, yeah. Illicit sexual intercourse, idolatry. All right, look up Revelation 17 and 13. Crimes against the current order that the Lord set up. That's committing fornication. Now, when the NATO and the EU and those countries came together, European countries, basically the Edomite countries, ran by Edomites. The populations, they're mixed, but they're mainly Edomites that run those countries in Europe, Canada, America, and they make up NATO and the EU. It says, Revelation 17:13, they will all agree to give him their power and authority. That's NLT. Let's go to King James. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. We look up, because I said earlier that they Uganda, I believe it's Uganda, they don't agree with the sodomite thing, but they will agree with the market, the MOTB. All right. Now they're not a part of the 7 heads, 10 horns. I'm just using this as an example. 17:13 of what does they agree mean. All right, so they came together and they agreed to form NATO, EU, and when the Lord returns, they're gonna go to war. Those different, well, all the world's armies that have the capability that's a part, and affiliates with the beast, NATO, EU, because it tells you that when they see the Lord, they're gonna turn and fight the Lord when he returns. So we're gonna look up mind, at one mind. I believe it's pronounced the gamma silent, no me, and there's one here, mind, and it says by one self-resolved purpose, intention. So their intention, view, judgment, opinion, their intention. So their intention is to come together as a military force to fight against the Lord. That's eventually what's going to lead to. They're going to come together and be fighting each other. The NATO, EU power is going to be fighting the Russians and their allies. Then they're going to turn and fight the Lord. And you go to Revelation 12 and 2 Ezra 13. It also tells you that Gog and Magog are going to be gathered together, and they're going to be fighting against the beast. So here, Revelation 12 tells you that the dragon here is referring to America. All right, the great dragon cast out that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. All right, the angels are referring to not the spirits; they're referring to the fighter jets, the armies of the dragon, the great dragon. All right. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against a dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. All right. There's a Roman Catholic Church, believes that this is talking about actual angels and demons fighting each other. This is referring to NATO, EU fighting the Lord in the air. That's what it's referring to. And when you go to 2nd Ezra, 13th chapter, it says, he waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, which are the angels, and turned, and his countenance looked, and all things trembled that were seen. And whenever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth fell from the field of fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was great gathered together a multitude of men out of the number from the four winds of the heaven. So the world's military came together, the four winds, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. All right. So they're going to be fighting each other. And then they're going to turn and fight the Lord. Now, when you go to Revelation 16, it tells you about Armageddon. Now, when you go to 16 and 12, it says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Now, because the fight's going to be in the so-called Middle East, and the powers from the east are going to be marching with their military forces into the land barren and desolate, which is Saudi Arabia. That area right there, barren and desolate. All right, so they're going to come over through the Euphrates, fly over, walk over, etc., and they're going to wage war against the West. All right. You go down to 16, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. Let's look up Armageddon. The scene of the struggle of good and evil is suggested by the battle plain of Julian, which was famous for two great victories. All right. It's not talking about where they're talking about. It's referring to the land barren and desolate. But the point here is the struggle between good and evil is going to be, because when they fight, when the East and the West fights, when the Russians and their allies in the West, which is the beast, NATO, EU, when they get their forces together, they're going to gather together in the land barren and desolate, pursuant to what Joel. All right, and that's going to be Saudi Arabia. So Armageddon, which means the mountain of the troops. All right, so it says, hence in Revelation, a place of great slaughter, the scene of a terrible tribulation upon the wicked. Because all those nations that have been gathered together are going to be are for the main part not Israelites, and they don't worship the God of the Bible. They don't worship the true God. All right, so they're deemed wicked and heathens. So they're going to be gathered together in the land barren and desolate, and there they're going to be put to death. They're going to slaughter each other, and then when they see the Lord, they're going to turn and fight the Lord. All right, I was pursuing the 2nd Ezra 13th chapter. Gathered together out of the four winds. All right, let's get back to the elders video.
Alphabet people. And it says here harlotry, including adultery and incest, figuratively idolatry, fornication. So when Kamala Harris, you don't even really see her. They kind of bring out the box once every 6 months. He says a few words and they put it back in the box. All right, back in the box. Like Genie. Back in your bottle. Like as you go on, and you got certain Israelite groups, I'm not going to mention any names. You know, we've been teaching that the MOTB, is a micro C hip, and they've been teaching otherwise, and they're going to have to admit that they were wrong. Because if they don't, and they tell their people to go ahead and take it, there's nothing wrong with taking it, they're all doomed. And we know they're going to be all doomed. We won't speak about it. Say you doomed. You ultimately, this is the icing on the cake. You done sold out with the cherry on top. This proves without a shadow of a doubt that you had a meeting and you sold out. Okay, Revelation 16:19. And the great city was divided into 3 parts. And the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before. The 3 parts represent this 3 nations, sons of the Most High, which are Israelites, because some of our people are going to die, even though they're the saints, they're going to die. The nations and the wicked fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before the Most High to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Revelation 18:10, standing afar off, for the fear of a torment. Now, IUIC equates torment with hell. Torment means you're burning in hell forever. But wait a minute, so the other nations are going to witness Esau burning forever? Saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And thy judgment is by way of missiles. Zechariah 14:12. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So anyway, I said I was going to make this short. I didn't really have anything to say.
All right, that's the my response to a few words on Babylon the Great. All right, the world's armies, east against the west. Then the Lord is going to come and annihilate all of them. All right, so I hope you edified. The Lord is Yahweh Shai. I hope you edified. Shalom.